Hey, hi, my name is Emma. Welcome to my channel, Woodvale Lane. I've been crocheting for 15 years and currently I'm trying to work my way through my stash. So you might be wondering, why am I stash busting? It's because I have so much yarn, and we're gonna get into exactly how much I have very shortly. Okay, so let's play a game. How much yarn do you think that I have? And then I would also like to know, how much yarn do you think you have? So my stash busting journey started on January 1st. And the first thing that I did was get all of my yarn out of all of the hiding places, and I laid it all out on a big sheet in the middle of my lounge room. I was so surprised with how much yarn that I had and things that I had forgotten that I actually owned. Also really cool yarn that I thought, wow, this has been sitting there this whole time. I can't believe it. Going through this process, it's really invigorated me to try and finish some of the projects that I also had stashed and lying around and things that I had forgotten about. So once I had all of my yarn out on the sheet, I started to take lots of photos so that I could compile it and see exactly how much that I had. It was a really confronting experience for me, mostly because I was grabbing it out of all of my little hidey holes and places that I thought like, oh, no one will find my yarn here. No one's gonna find it. It's totally fine. So I took lots of photos, mainly so that I could put it onto this site called Ravelry and kind of have a visualization of my stash. I think this would be the best way for me to then go through and understand what I have and where it is. I feel like this also kind of has a bit of a parallel with a gaming hobby. Like when you're gaming, you kind of have a little library of all of your games, and it's kind of like a display proudly kind of situation. Whereas when you do like a handicraft, like crochet, knitting, needlepoint, you kind of hide like the pretty yarns and the threads that you have, or at least in my case and some of my friends' cases, they do that. I know some people who are kind of a bit more artsy have it all on the wall, but I just, number one, don't have space for that. And number two, I have a small child, and if I started displaying that stuff kind of around the house, I know that it would get touched and I wouldn't like that. So I prefer to sort of store it away in drawers and the cupboard. Putting it onto Ravelry was actually a lot harder than I thought it was going to be. I feel like Ravelry is really built for, if you buy something that day, you're gonna take a photo and you're gonna log it into your stash. Instead of what I was doing, which was taking lots of photos of every single ball of yarn that I had and then logging it into the website. Like that just like did not work out very well at all. Also, I wanted to like show some of the miscellaneous yarn that I had, and there wasn't really a way to categorize it correctly, so I just sort of ended up grouping them in sort of like, this is random acrylic, this is yarn that I use for testing out patterns, this is something else, and just sort of leaving them without actual quantities. And I didn't really like that. I'm gonna work on that later, but at the current moment, I'm like, this is just what it is. This is what it is. It's close enough. I do like with Ravelry that you can then select the yarn from your stash and add it to a whip. I really thought that was great, and I'm definitely gonna start logging my whips into Ravelry as well, because sometimes when you've been crocheting for as long as I have, the whips sort of start to get lost, especially if you're not a monogamous crocheter. I definitely work on lots of projects all at once, so I hardly ever finish one project before I'm up and starting another one. And we'll definitely sort of talk about that when I get into what I want to do for Finish It February, because I have a lot of whips and I just need to like get some of them done. Also, I really like that you can see what type of projects other people are using for their types of yarn. Like one of the yarns that I have a lot of, which is Curio number 10, I didn't really know what to do with it. I've had it for quite a while and I thought I'm a shawl person and I could make lots of shawls with this, but in reality, I don't really like working with thread that fine. I'm sort of like working my way up to using that type of thread, and that's great, but currently it's just sort of sitting there and I'm not sure what to do with it. One thing I did like about Ravelry was that I could then look into other people's projects and see what they've been making from the thread, and I saw lots of people have been making doilies, so I thought maybe that might be a good use for that yarn. I have 7 balls of it, so I'm not really sure what I'm gonna do. I could definitely make like a really nice looking shawl with it. I just don't know if I'm going to be a shawl type of person. I have 2 currently that are just whips that I really need to get done. One's a Tunisian crochet shawl, and the second one is a like pineapple motif shawl that I'm using a sock weight yarn for. I should really finish those actually. I also really liked about Ravelry is that you can export your stash into an Excel file. So if you use Power BI or something else, you could do a bit of data analytics with it and see how it works out. If you're a Power BI girly and you'd like to play around with my yarn data, I will gladly send that over to you, and you can make a little spreadsheet or make a little chart for me. That would be amazing. Currently, I am just using Canva, and I gotta say, it's a bit limited, but what are you gonna do? Here's all my stash highlighted. As you can see, I have a beautiful pie chart. Looking at this pie chart, you can really see that one yarn stands out above all else it's pretty much 40%. It's 39.9. And then the next one is only 9.2. And then the other big one is also a 9.2. My absolute most loved yarn is Flinders 4 Seasons 8-ply. This is it. I love it. I do. I have it in lots of different colors. I have black. The black is looking a bit dusty, but that's fine. I have it in all sorts of colors. It is my favorite yarn of all time. It's cotton, it's easy to use. There's always an abundance of colors at Spotlight. Spotlight, please sponsor me. Please sponsor me. I have a yarn addiction, especially to the Flinders 8-ply cotton yarn. It is chef's kiss. I love it. I love it. I use it for everything. I use it for my bandana video. I use it for my pouches. I use it to make my 1960s retro bonnet. I do have too much of it. I have 52 balls, which is a crazy amount. It's a crazy amount to think about. I don't have a specific project in mind for all of these balls. For some reason, every time I go to Spotlight, I'm standing in the aisle, I'm like, ooh, I haven't seen that color before. I need to buy this. I need this one. I'm like Gollum. Flinders 4-ply is my precious. It's so good. Highly recommend. It's affordable. It's easy to use. It has so many applications. I love it. It's my fave. And evidently so with how much I have in my stash. The next yarn that I have I have a lot of, which is 9.2% of my stash, is this Karen X Pantone. It is this gray color. It's kind of sad, to be honest. I don't know what to do with it. I don't know what to do with it. It is 60% acrylic, 20% nylon, and 20% merino wool. I feel like you kind of need a mix to offset the wool, because sometimes wool is a bit scratchy. So it kind of comes in this hank, and each one of these hanks makes its own separate ball, which I think is a part of why I haven't used it. It's really fiddly to get used to. I have to take it all apart, then I have to wind each one of them individually. It's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. I absolutely love this yarn though. If you have any ideas of what to do with it, let me know. I'm kind of at a loss. I'm sort of thinking making each one a square and then making it into maybe a cardigan. I think it'd be a nice soft cardigan, but I think it would need like another color to sort of brighten it up a little bit. I do like wearing a lot of black, but I have to offset it. I can't be gloomy all the time. I mean, I can, but you know what I mean. I have 12 of these. It's still too many. I don't know. It's a lot of winding that I'm gonna have to do, and maybe I should make a ball winding video at that point, because I will be a pro, and especially how to break down a hank too. Anyway, and the other 9.2% of my stash is Karen baby cakes. I was using those for making blankets, but at a certain point, I kind of got a bit bored of making blankets, if I'm being honest, especially baby blankets. I don't know. There's lots of babies who are now like actual kids who do not have their baby blankets. I'm very sorry. I was making one for my friend. I do need to finish that one. I should actually just give it to her. So maybe that will be another one that I could try to finish it February, but I don't think it's gonna really happen. I'm not gonna put that pressure on myself. It's like a pretty large project, so I might bank on that one for later. Now I'm going to get onto what I have been working on this month, which is definitely more of an exciting part of this video, for me anyway. The first whip that I'm gonna be talking about is this beanie that I was making for my child. They love red, and it's a single crochet rib beanie. You probably have the gross side. And you're probably like wondering like, why haven't I finished this? well, I have to join on a new ball, and that seemed to have stopped me in my tracks. Crazy. Crazy, I know. This is kind of an up close. I folded it too. I probably shouldn't have done that, but it will block out okay. So it's pretty cute. I like how it's coming out so far. It's like super neat and everything. It's gonna be pretty much sized for an adult. I might do a video tutorial on this as well. I really like how it's sort of coming about. I'm using the Morris & Sons brand Empire for that one as well, which I really like. It's a nice soft yarn. And they use a 5mm hook for that, so it's so easy. I ended up watching all of Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit while I was crocheting that. Just a random tidbit. That's definitely what kept me going while I was single crocheting. I find single crocheting really tedious. I think I should have at least done a half double crochet. I don't think it would have changed the look that much. But anyway, you live, you learn, you move on. The next project that I started this month was a baby jumper. I've been looking at this for a very long time. So it is the Peyton's Baby Time 611 crochet jumper number 16. And this is what it's looking like. I have one panel finished. Actually, I have 2 panels finished. I have 2 panels finished that I really like. I have one sleeve. Trust me, this will be a sleeve. I don't know. It will. Just trust me. I have one sleeve, and then on my hook, I currently have another sleeve on the hook. And this is how much yarn I have left. So I'm hoping to get at least one whole ball finished, and it should be enough. So the original pattern called for Feather Soft 25-gram balls, and it wanted 4 of those to make one jumper. So because they don't make Feather Soft anymore, I am using Big Baby. I'm using Big Baby, and I have 100 grams of Big Baby, and it should be enough to finish one baby jumper. Fingers crossed. I don't have any more blue, so we're kind of crocheting on the edge here. I think it'll be fine though. So there is this thing in the crafting community called Finish It February, and I really want to finish, number 1, the baby jumper that I'm working on. Number 2, the beanie. It's currently summer here in Australia, so I have a little bit more time, but I really want to finish it before the cold weather sets in. And if I don't say I'm going to finish it in February, then I'm probably not going to finish it, at least for another year. And number 3, I would like to finish this hexagon cardigan that I've had in my whip pile for too long. I've got the 2 sides already done. I just need to do something with the back. Because I'm like plus size, I need like a little bit more space, which is fine. It's like a cropped cardigan version. I didn't want to do like a full length because I think I get a bit swallowed up in full lengths, if you know what I mean. So I wanted to do like a cropped version of it. So I have the length I need. I just need like a few extra centimeters in the back so that I can sew it up and then do like a pretty ribbing around it, or doing like a decorative sort of finish to it. I don't know. I do like my decorative finishes. Like I will show you this blank that I have down here that I finished. And I went super extra with it, and I did like a ripple kind of effect, like a wave kind of effect border to it. I don't know if I'll do that, but I might do something kind of cute and extra. Hello, editing me. I just realized I didn't say how many skeins that I had. So I have 131 balls of yarn. It's okay if you have more than me, but like just for me and sort of my household size, and how much space that I have, 131.25 is a lot. And it's also not even all of it. I know that there is more hiding around, but I just didn't have enough time to go through it all. Mid-year, probably June or July, I'm gonna go through all of my hiding holes and find the rest of the yarn that I have and add it to the stash. But hopefully before then, I'll have this number down below 100. Fingers crossed, I'm manifesting it. If you're also doing this journey, let me know how many balls of yarn that you're kind of aiming to have below by June. Let me know. That is my crocheting stash busting updates for January. February, I'll definitely be doing some more crocheting action shots and getting a bit more into the nitty-gritties of the patterns that I'm working. So subscribe to see those. Thanks for watching, like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video in February.